بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So today's new maxim is قاعدة الاشتراك. Ishtirak means Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It means participation or sharing, if you will, or a better translation could be association. Association with others. What do we mean by association? It means مشاركة المسلمين في الأحكام الشرعية. Means that when there is a ruling, an Islamic ruling, then this ruling has no exception. All Muslims are involved. It is inclusive of all Muslims. What do we mean by all when we say all? It means those who are present as well as those who are absent. Those who know about it as well as those who do not know about it. The alim and the jahil. And this maxim is supported by many evidences, madarik. One of them is Sahihatu Zurara. صحيحة زرارة عن أبي عبد الله الصادق عن أبي عبد الله, which is Imam al-Sadiq, the sixth Imam, عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال حلال محمد حلال إلى يوم القيامة وحرامه حرام إلى يوم القيامة. First of all, about Zurara, very interesting person. Zurara and Humran, those are two brothers who were the disciples of our fifth and sixth Imam. Their grandfather was a Christian priest, and he died as a Christian. The father was not a Shia, was a Muslim but not a follower of Ahlul Bayt. And he has begotten many children. All of them became scholars. Not ordinary scholars, but very outstanding. Zurara and Humran are the closest disciples to our Imams. And if you search the books of Hadith, you will find the biggest numbers of Hadith comes through them. Comes through those two brothers, Zurara and Humran ibn A'yun. Can you imagine? The grandfather was a priest. And then the grandchildren become the closest disciples of our Imams. This is the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The guidance. And some people, they lived in Mecca. They saw the Prophet every day and they still rejected him. They didn't believe in him. So this hadith is very famous. What Prophet Muhammad introduced as being legitimate and halal would remain halal إلى يوم القيامة, till the day of judgment. And what has been introduced by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as being illegitimate or illegal or haram remains haramun till the day of judgment. What does that mean? It means that Whatever was mandatory for early Muslims becomes mandatory for later Muslims till the Day of Judgment. So the ahkam, the Islamic rulings, the Islamic judgments, what is mandatory, what is forbidden, is not inclusive, it's not excluding others, and it is not only for the early generation, it's for all generations till the Day of Judgment. Even though those who didn't see the Prophet didn't hear him. So it goes through the entire generations. Usually ahkam comes through two ways. How do we receive them? Two ways. Sometimes it's a public declaration. God makes a public declaration. This is one way. Al-insha'ul am. In Arabic, al-insha'ul am. Public declaration. Such as what? The example of public declaration. وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. For those who are able to perform the pilgrimage, then God asks them to perform. This is public declaration. God is not addressing this person or this prophet or this group or this village. Public declaration, universal. وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ. For those who are able to do Hajj, they have istita'a, financial, physical ability, then they have to perform. So this is one way. It comes through public declaration. What is the second way of conveying the commands to us? How is that done? The second way.
Direct.
How?
Specific questions or specific issues that arise at specific occasions.
And then how it is addressed. أقيموا الصلاة آتوا الزكاة. Direct request. It's not public declaration, it's direct. O who you believe, establish your prayers, perform fasting, pay your charity.
So like through action?
Through orders. Orders, but specific orders. It has been addressed specifically, not a public declaration. And the first one, it was whoever is able to perform Hajj should perform Hajj. But in the second one, no, I want you to perform prayers. I want you to perform fasting. Both of them are orders, but the method is different. The first one is indirect and public and general and universal. The second is specific.
So just for men or just for women to do certain things or
Yeah.
groups? Or?
So do you mean like when you say public, do you mean like any believer? No, because when you say indirect, it could be anyone, not specifically to Muslims.
And this is why we have a subject within fiqh. They discuss it. They say, are these commands exclusive for the Muslims, or it includes others who are non-believers? Many jurists believe that the religious commands includes others, even those who are not Muslims. They are mukallaf.
Those
They-
are the public declarations?
Public and the private, both.
Or even those?
For instance, a non-Muslim, someone who does not believe in God, is not Muslim. Is he addressed when God says you have to pray? They say yes. Even though he's not a Muslim. But the khitab, the voice, the command goes to him as well, not just to the Muslims.
Which makes sense.
Even though he's not a Muslim, he has to pray. So God did not send his message only exclusively to the Muslims. When it comes to religious duties, ibadat, it goes to all. The invitation, the message goes to all, not just to the Muslims. So, but there are two ways of addressing. One is public declaration. It's not specific, public. وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ. The second is God says specifically to the believers, "Oh, who you believe, I want you to pray." This is a specific occasion, not general, not public. Okay? Both these, the public declaration, the first one and the second one, includes both these orders and commands, includes all Muslims. There is no exclusion. All of them are included in these. Those who are the attendees as well as those who did not attend. Those who lived during that generation as well as those who are going to come through the next generations.
So say so the second part is the declaration to the Muslims, but the first one is just general people, you said, right?
No. Both are for Muslims and non-Muslims.
Right.
But the method is different.
Right.
The first one, like when I say, "Oh, people, have lunch," okay? This is the second one. "Oh, people have lunch." The first one, I say, it is good for the people to have lunch. I didn't tell them go and have lunch. I made a general statement. It's good for people to have lunch, to have dinner, for instance. It was a public one. It's not a direct command. It's like a suggestion, but it is a command. It sounds like a suggestion, but it is a command.
So like the first one would end in a period, whereas the second one, the sentence would end in an exclamation mark.
Yes?
It's more
Yeah.
convincing.
Exactly. Now, so this is one hadith as a madrak to this maxim, the maxim of association, the hadith. There is another evidence which could be used. What is it? Not hadith. What else could be used as an evidence beside hadith, beside Quran? What else?
Tradition or yeah,
Tradition of
or shura or
There is something that probably we did not go through in the past, and it is called ضرورة, necessity, basic necessity. Or I can call it common sense. When God gives an order to the humanity, can we say this order is only for the people who were living during from this year till that year? People who were with the Prophet only, not after that generation? Or only for men, not women? Only for the rich, not the poor? Only for the white, not the black? Common sense, it says, the order is order. It goes to all. There is no differentiation. So even if there is no ayah or hadith, ضرورة من ضروريات الفقه, one of the necessities of jurisprudence, the science of jurisprudence, is that the command or the order is inclusive of all people and does not differentiate. Unless stated otherwise. Unless it says this command is only for this specific time, specific period, or a specific group. If that is not stated, then it means this is general for all people. Now, what are the results of this? What do we draw from this maxim of association? What difference it makes in our daily life? Does it make any difference? Such as?
A lot of people say, oh, well, that applied to the people back then, doesn't apply to our condition or our time or our...
This is one. This is one difference. Some people say that that was of the old time, people who were around the Prophet, like hijab, for instance. Some people who don't accept hijab, they say, well, this was during the old age, you know, that was the tradition of that time. But now it doesn't apply. So this is one. What is that? Another difference. Another difference that it makes. When it comes to ibadat, I mentioned it, I alluded to it in the beginning. Does it?
Oh, people that don't know, like even if people
Exactly.
don't know, they're still...
Exactly. Some people say, well, I did not know, I am a Muslim, but I didn't know that prayers was mandatory until the age of 40, 50. So from now on, I'm going to pray. But in the past, I didn't. Should he make up or he shouldn't?
Yes.
He should make up. Not, I don't know, it's not an excuse. It's your problem, you didn't know.
It's like about those who said, no, I mean like the ayah came because even for those who ختم الله قلوبهم,
على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم
even
وعلى
so
أبصارهم.
ختم Allah, it's
Yeah.
also حجة عليهم.
Of course, yeah. So there is no excuse that I did not know. So if you miss the prayers, whether you are alim, aware, or jahil, unaware, or you were sleeping during the time of the prayers, you are na'im, you are not present, you were asleep. Then you wake up and the time has passed. Should you do the prayers or not? Of course you should do the prayers. You should make up the prayers that you missed while you were sleeping. So this is one of the applications of Qa'idatul Ishtirak.
So does this mean, say, when we believe, when some ulama say that it belongs, it applies to everyone, so does that mean that if you're a non-believer and all of a sudden you became a believer, all those previous salah were, or
All of them.
ibadat were wajib?
All of them. Unless you are not a Muslim. If he was not a Muslim,
Right.
because there is another maxim that overrides this, that governs this, which is al-Islam yajubbu ma qablah. When you accept Islam, then the past yajub is forgiven. But if you were born Muslim and you were not practicing, then at the age of 40, 50, 60, you want to practice, then you must make up what you missed since the age of puberty. Whatever khums, whatever hajj, whatever prayers, whatever fasting, other obligations, you have to make them up. But if the person he was not a Muslim, then because of this hadith, specific hadith, because we have an evidence that overrides this, it says, Al-Islamu yajubbu ma qablah. When you accept Islam, all your past, you are a newly born. You are a newly born, so you don't have to do. Or you were Muslim, but you are following another madahib, doing your prayers in a different way. Now you accepted the tradition of Ahlul Bayt, you don't have to repeat your past prayers. Neither past Hajj, if you have done Hajj once in your life. That Hajj is okay, because you did it according to your own tradition. So you don't have to repeat. These cases have a specific evidence, hadith. So it doesn't fall under the general case, because these situations have been addressed through specific hadith. These are exceptions, not the norm. Otherwise, the norm, you have to make up what you missed in the past. The second application is that we know if the father dies, his oldest son should do his whatever he missed of his religious duties and obligations. The oldest son. Now, does that apply to the mother if the mother dies too?
You said no.
I would say with this, it says yes.
The general understanding is no. But some fuqaha and jurists, they say because of this maxim, then it includes the mother too, not just the mother.
On the son.
On the oldest son, not just his father. So if his mother dies and she has some dues, she didn't, perform some prayers and fasting, then according to qa'idatul ishtirak, then she's not excluded. She is included, and therefore her oldest son has to fulfill what she missed. Let's go to another maxim, and that is qa'idatul al-iqdam. Qa'idatul iqdam. Al-iqdam. What does iqdam mean? Iqdam means, specifically here, in general, in Arabic it means to attempt to apply for. Iqdam is to apply for something or to attempt to do something. But here it has a specific meaning. It means, this is what it means. At my own risk. It means at my own risk. What do we mean by at my own risk? It means if you are a boss and you have workers, sometimes you can order those who work under your supervision, under your authority, to do something risky, which could entail a loss. But then you don't hold them, if you order them to do something risky, and they do some sort of damage. Would they be held responsible for it?
You ordered the employee to do something
Risky,
They do it.
They
They end up
damaging something, let's say.
There is
You
already
would
a
be
risk.
responsible.
There is already a risk, so it's a mutual agreement.
And you ordered them to do.
You ordered them, yeah.
Yeah,
You should be liable.
You ordered them. It's risky, but you ordered them. It came at your order, as your order. You tell them, at my own risk. Then they are not liable for dhaman, restitution. You can't ask them for, you can't sue them. Many examples are like that. You ask the real estate agent to sell your house underpriced. Underpriced. Half of the price. And he sells it. There is a loss here. Would you hold him responsible? Or you don't tell him underpriced. You tell him, I want you to sell this house at any price. Or whoever gives you the first offer, whatever is the first offer, accept it. And the first offer was underpriced. So they are not responsible for that loss. because it is you with your own full understanding. You told them it's at my own risk.
I say, what about, let's say, an
Or let me give you one more example. You ask your agent to buy something which is overpriced, either underpriced, he sells it, or to buy something, a product which is in the market, it's $1,000 usually, but you like it, you are a Saudi prince, you see a portrait and you pay $500 million. It's worth $10 million, or what was the other thing he purchased?
Yeah.
A yacht, yes, for $500 million. So the agent is not responsible because he was following your orders. You cannot hold him liable then. You say, oh, you know, I regret and you know, this is you. You can't hold him accountable. It's like the killing of Khashoggi. He ordered to murder Khashoggi and then he puts them in jail. Yes, Dr. Ali.
Actually, I was going to ask kind of like that. So, it's like you in a war, let's say they order soldiers to kill somebody from an order,
Yeah.
and they kill them. The person, they're responsible.
This maxim applies to transactions. It does not speak about murder and crimes and things like that, because for following the orders to kill is not something easy. You cannot, you know, the soldier cannot say, I was merely following orders.
Right.
He might bear some responsibility too. He might. He cannot say, well, my commander told me to slaughter, to shoot all those people. He might, in the legal theory, he might bear some responsibility. They tell him, but the commander, how about if he said, kill yourself? Would you kill yourself? Definitely you would not listen to him. You would not listen to him. So that's a different, because that is a sensitive subject. But this one, because it deals with transactions, so, okay. Another example that he gives, the author here, that بأن يأمر صاحب المال عامله بإلقاء ماءه في البحر. The boss asked his worker to throw his items, whatever it is. It could be money, it could be a laptop, it could be something, to dump this in the ocean. And he did. He followed his orders. Is he liable later on? Is he?
You mean the person that told him to go dump it into the ocean?
No, the one who executed it. The one who works for him.
No, he's not.
He's not, because he followed the orders.
But aqliyan, Maulana, if someone asks me to do something really dumb, you know,
Has to be your boss.
You may not do that. You may not do that. But if you do that, you are not responsible. You may not do that. You may say, no, sorry, I would not do that. Ask someone else. But if, in case you did, you listened to him, you are not liable, according to this. You are not liable, because you followed his order and he was the owner of this. He was the owner of this material, of this money, of this wealth. He is the owner. Okay. What is number one evidence for this? What comes to your mind? How? What does aql, reason, say?
Rational or common sense is that if someone tells you to do something and you do it, you shouldn't be responsible for it.
Or put it...
the other way, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, when I give order to someone,
Yeah.
I am aware of, I should be aware of the risk. If I'm not,
Yeah. Or we can put it in another legal framework that تصرف في مال الغير, if you touch the wealth of someone without his or her permission and you damage it, are you liable for restitution or not?
Yeah.
Huh? You are. Definitely you are. This is in all, all types of laws, secular, religious. When you are driving the car, you took the car of someone without his or her permission. Without his or her permission. And you got into an accident. Should you repair the car at your own, cost or not? Yes, because you took it without permission. Maybe if you take it with permission and there is an accident, you say it's an accident and the insurance pays. But when you take it. Now the opposite of that, when someone is giving you an order to do something, to do a damage, to do an act of damage or loss with permission, and you did it. You did tasarruf, you did an act of damage with his or her permission. Are you liable for restitution? Are you? No.
If you owe, yeah, no.
With his permission.
With his permission.
With his permission. He gave you the car keys and he said, listen, crash this car into this tree. Please, because I want to film it, I want, or shoot. I put my iPhone here. I want you to shoot it with a bullet. He asked you to do so. And you did. So there is no dhaman. There is no liability here. There is no restitution here. And of course there are many ahadith. The ahadith says, if two people, they went into a contract and someone said to the other, listen, do this at my own risk. You are not responsible. You are only an executor. Whatever happens, if this item is damaged, then I am responsible. There is a hadith in this meaning, okay? Then there is another madrak or evidence, and that is bina'ul uqala. Bina'ul uqala, it means the common assumption of the rational people. What is the common assumption of the rational people? That there are certain actions that it could be dangerous, it could incur loss or damage or death or disability or whatever, but the person is accepting that responsibility. Such as what? Such as this guy, the tightrope walker, what they call it?
Yeah.
If he dies, he says, you don't go and sue the company. He's taking the responsibility. With his full awareness, he says, I want to do this, but I need the people to help me. So if he gets killed and there is no safety net to protect him, then recite Fatiha for him and everything is over. Or plastic surgeries. Some people go for plastic surgeries and then they sign the paper at my own risk. In fact, I think in America, every surgery you have to sign, yes? Every surgery? Every surgery. Not just the plastic surgery. So you know.
Procedure almost, that is surgery.
Every procedure. So the doctor explains to you that it could be a risk, it could be whatever they tell you, and you have to read and then you have to sign. So this is iqdam, this is at my own risk. I am having this procedure, this surgery at my own risk. And it happens, many people die after the surgery. So you can't go on unless it is proven that the doctor did not do a good job. Okay, he failed in his mission. He failed. They didn't give him the right amount of anesthesia or whatever, you know. Otherwise, it's at his own risk. Many types of sports, car race. How many times we see someone famous guy, he was burnt and died today because he knows the risk. He knows the risk. So you cannot hold others accountable. He knows the risk. He knows the car that he's driving. He knows this is something very, or parachute jumping or whatever, you know, other types of sports that people do. So this is bina'ul uqala. Bina'ul uqala is the common assumption of the rational people that in every act there could be a risk. If people accept the risk themselves with full awareness, then what? Then others are not responsible.
So
Yes.
The common assumption of the rational people, is that a general madrak or?
Yes, general, yes. This is one of the evidences that we use, because this is, even if there is no ayah, even if there is no hadith, but this is bina'ul uqala. This is how society works. This is how common sense states. That when someone says, listen people, I take the risk, don't worry. If something happens, I'm responsible. Then he cannot come back and then say, well, why did you let me do this? You shouldn't have let me done this. You know I'm crazy. Why did you? Now, an example or mas'ala. We have, my friends, a maxim. We studied this maxim before. I don't know how long ago, but we studied this maxim. The maxim is called nafyu dharar. Nafyu dharar. Forbidding or stopping the loss. If you know that there is something is going to be done which incurs some loss, some damage. So, don't do that. Such as what? It could be financial damage, it could be physical damage, it could be mental damage. Let's speak about financial damage. Financial damage is when you sell your house half the price. The house is worth $500,000. Someone, wants to sell it for $250,000. Usually he should not do that. They should prevent him. But according to this maxim, he says, this is my house, my money, and I want to sell it $250,000. So which one comes first? Which one overrides the other? This maxim overrides or this maxim? Do we tell him no, even though it is your money, but we have to stop the loss? Or we tell him no, this is your money and it is at your own risk. Your money. Which one comes first? This one? When they clash, this one with that one, they clash. Iqdam and nafyu dharar, they are in conflict. Which one comes first?
I will pick the first one because
Why?
because at the end you cannot prevent everybody from doing the wrong thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or stop it.
We'll say with nephew darar, can't it prevent you getting in the other situation to begin with?
In what situations?
In a situation.
They differentiate between financial situation and other situations. They say in financial situations, this one comes first. This one overrides this. This one governs this. Hakima. But in case someone wants to kill himself, give me your gun, I want to kill myself. Give me the knife, I want to, hit myself. So which one comes first? This one at your own risk or this one?
Why do they differentiate? Why is the financial?
Because the financial, it is, you can recover it, you know. Something that you can recover. Someone wants to sell his house, you know, underpriced. And he owns the money. He has control over his money. Okay? So they say, الناس مسلطون على أموالهم. Because we have a maxim, it says people have control over their wealth. I want to sell it half the price. You cannot prevent him from that. Maybe if he wants to burn the money, maybe the entire money, you don't allow him. But if he wants to sell it half the price, it's okay. But when it comes to involving the souls, we can't allow him, even if he wants to kill himself. So if he goes to a doctor and he says, I want you to give me an overdose, like Michael Jackson. If it is true, I don't know. If his doctor, his physician gave him the...
I mean, I don't know if he did it on purpose. I think he was...
malpractice.
Yeah.
But let's say, he goes to a doctor and he asks him to help him to commit suicide.
It's Dr. Kevorkian, you go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevorkian was in Michigan. I think it was Michigan. He was helping people. Yeah.
Then in this case, definitely this one will take over. Overrides that one. Because this is a soul, a human soul. It's beyond recovery. If he dies, you cannot recover him. Money could be recovered, but the human souls cannot be recovered. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.